Welcome back to Math 103. This is video number 7 on fair division. I hope you enjoyed that video of two kids applying the divider-chooser method to a peanut butter sandwich. Here is a more involved example involving a timeshare. We're going to look at many examples of this kind. Anne and Bob share the rights to a certain store location in the mall, and we understand that to mean that they have equal claim to that location. But they run separate businesses, and only one of them can use the space at a time. To minimize the expense and hassle of turnover, they agreed that each year one of them should get the space from New Year's until a certain date, and then that'll be the turnover time. The other should get the space from that date, that turnover date, through the end of the calendar year. So they agree to use the divider-chooser method to make a fair division of the access time to the store location. Right? So this is a continuous division problem. When they make that division point at a certain date, that could in principle occur anywhere during the calendar year, and indeed at any time of day during that turnover day. Anne estimates that she can make $10,000 per month from January through July, and $14,000 per month from August through December. That's believable, right? Not every business makes the same amount of money at every time of year. Some businesses are seasonal. Many businesses are seasonal in this way. Bob estimates that he can make $6,000 per month from January through June and $12,000 per month from July through December. So this is our given information about how much each player values each part of the goods. Okay, the goods are the calendar year. It may be helpful when you solve problems of this kind, and I recommend this strongly, to set up the following calendar table. So you've been given information month by month, you've been given these values month by month, and so if you set up this month by month table, it really helps you sort out what's going on. Now suppose that they flip a coin, and the coin flip makes Anne the divider. Our first question is, at what point in the year does Anne divide it into two parts? Remember what the rule is. The divider must divide the goods into two shares that are equally valuable from her own point of view. The issue here is equally valuable. So she has to divide at the value midpoint of the year from her point of view, and that is not the same thing as the calendar year midpoint. There's no reason why the value midpoint will be exactly the end of June, beginning of July. So by value midpoint, I mean the one point in the year at which all the time from January until that midpoint has the same value to Anne as all the time from that value midpoint through the end of the year. How do we find this value midpoint? Well, first we add up the total value of the goods, the total value of the calendar year to Anne, and that's $140,000. And she has to divide the year at that one point that makes the first part of the year, January 1st until then, equal in value to the last part of the year. And since the total is worth $140,000, that means each part needs to be worth $70,000 to her. Where is that value midpoint? Well, that is right at the end of July, right? Because January through July, that's 7 months at $10,000 each. That's worth $70,000. And the remaining 5 months are also worth $70,000. 5 months at $14,000 each. And when I say worth $70,000, that means worth $70,000 to Anne. She's the divider, so she is only looking at her own valuation scheme when she makes the division. She doesn't even know necessarily what Bob thinks the values are. She knows her own value system, and she divides based on her own value system. Before going on to the next video, please answer the next question, which is essentially just carrying out the next stage of the divider-chooser method. So now that Anne has divided the year into these two shares, so you've got one share going from January 1st to July 31st, and another share going from August 1st through December 31st. Now that we know what the two shares are, Bob has to pick one of them in its entirety, and then whichever one he doesn't pick will go to Anne in its entirety. Here's the question. Which share does Bob select? How much is it worth to him in dollars? And how much is it worth to him as a fraction, or percentage, of what the whole year is worth to him?